All right, welcome once again. So you are with me, Emmanuel from ITonlinelearning, and we'll be talking about the intro part to coding. And on this part, we'll be mostly focusing on understanding what is coding, and this is to help somebody who is completely new, who does not have any idea about what is coding. They just hear about coding from internet. They just read people talking about, I want to be a coder, I want to be a programmer, so it's a term which is sounding simple, but to some people it is a term which is a bit confusing, and some, they don't make right decisions just because they fail to understand what this term coding means. So let's get started with the introduction to coding. What is coding? So coding, or programming actually, is just something that involves writing instructions in various languages for computer to execute tasks, process data, run applications, or perform application operations. What do I mean by that? So I'll unpack these terms: coding or programming. Now, when you hear about the programming, it's actually the art of telling a computer what to do and how to do. Remember, a computer is not a human being, so a computer understands what we call machine language. So machine language is a language that is not human-like. It's in form of zeros or binaries, zeros and ones. But now, for a computer to translate what a human being writes or what a human being needs, there are a lot of translations going on in the background which you don't necessarily understand. So when you're coding, actually, you are telling a computer what to do and how to do. So it's an art of, instructing a computer what to do and how to do. But as human beings, we just write in such a way that we actually understand on our human nature, and the computer translates what we write into its own machine language that is in form of zeros and ones. So as I said, coding or programming is also rather called programming or coding, which involves the writing of instructions in various languages. So as you can hear, these in various languages, which also signifies that you don't write if you speak French. It means you code in French. No, there are programming languages. There are actual languages which are designed in such a way that when you type or you write something, the computer will easily translate into machine language. So coding, once again, or programming, it involves writing instructions in various languages for computer to execute tasks, process data, run applications, as well as perform some operations. So coding is how we communicate with computers using languages like Python or JavaScript. Of course, I assume that you heard about Python and you thought about that kind of scary snake. But yeah, this is also a programming language in coding or JavaScript. So coding is how we communicate with computers using programming languages like Python or JavaScript, similar to how we speak to each other. Okay. Now, a good example, imagine you want your computer to display the message, hello world. How do we do this? You have to know that we have different programming languages and they display differently. They have different rules. So in Python, hello world, this is what it would look like in Python. You actually have a command this is Python. We actually talk about Python. And this is how you print it out, hello world. Okay, this is how you print it out, hello world. But actually, if I want to run this code in Python, I will actually show you in Visual Studio Code, VS Code. Just open VS Code. Okay, so if we take a look at this, this is VS Code. Let me close this. If you look at this, I'm creating a new file called hello world or hello, just say hello.py. So that's Python. And when I want to print it out, I need to make sure that in VS Code, I need to enable the extension. Okay, this is an extension which will help us to to run the Python codes in our VS Code. So let's wait until it compresses installation. Okay. This is an extension pack. We're not talking about the, setting up the IT or the environment for Python, but we are only just trying to show you how it displays in Python. I'm only defining what is coding. So I just want to show you. So here, we just print hello. Just say hello world. This is in Python. Hello world. Just like that. Save. If you try to run it, it will print down here hello world. Okay. Hello world. As you can see, hello world. Rather, you can also print this out in different ways. You can just name it first. Name, and then you say hello world. Okay. Hello world, and then you can print that name out here. That's in Python. So what I'm doing here, this is coding. I'm trying to code because I understand how Python does it. Okay. If you try to run it, it will still print hello world, as you can see here. So you and me, I understand because I'm a coder. And to become a coder, it means you also need to understand what is this and why did I have to put this in front of this? Why this one? All these, they have meanings in coding. So that's actually coding. I'm telling a computer to print out something. So it prints out, as you can see here. Okay. So why is coding important today? Because people, they don't necessarily understand why is coding important. So why is coding important? So coding is it's actually the backbone of modern technology, from web development to mobile apps, as well as the AI. A lot of AI tools are done in Python, and this is coding. So it's a backbone of modern technology. If one is actually having the career development in the modern technologies, it means that kind of a person or that particular person is supposed to have an idea about the coding, because you can actually develop mobile applications, web applications. An application is actually, we have different types of applications. Those who are running on the browsers, others who are running, which are running on the mobile phones, and others that are running on the desktop. So they're actually categorized differently, but they are all coded, or they're actually programmed to do that. Okay, so almost every industry relies on coding to automate tasks. That's true. Improve efficiency and innovate. When you say every industry, it means currently it's uncommon to find a company without a computer. And if you know a computer has got an operating system which was coded, so it means coding is actually at work. In the health sector, you find a lot of machines there which are instructed how to perform some instructions, because somebody had to sit down, write those instructions so that when you press ABCD, something happens. Okay. So websites like Facebook, Twitter, there are millions of lines of code. Coding powers visual assistant like Siri, as well as the Alexa, if you are familiar with all those. Okay, so the key terminologies in coding, which I would like you to understand, we're talking about a code. If you look at this, we're talking about the code, and also we're talking about the compiler, and we're also talking about the algorithm and syntax. These are the key terminologies which you must be aware and you must be familiar with when talking about a code. So the instructions you write, this is what to call a code. Whatever I've written here, this is what to call a code. Okay? The instructions you write, these are called code. In academic research, what you write on notebook, those are what we call notes. In coding or in programming, what you write as a programmer is what we call a code. Okay? And a compiler, what is a compiler? A compiler is just a program that converts your written code into machine language, so the computer can actually understand. Remember, I talked about a machine language. I talked about a computer, that a computer is not a human being. So a computer such that is not a human being, it means it understands what we call machine language. A human being understands what we call natural language or high-level languages. High-level languages are languages that are closer to human understanding, not human languages. Let's say, for example, when you talk about Python as a programming language, that's a higher-level language. Higher-level language is not a human language, because if I speak French, Python does not speak French, but it is closer to my understanding such that I can be able to write a code in such a way that I'll be able to write instructions and the computer will not have a lot of translations because there's a compiler, a program, which is already there built into Python such that when you write a code, it translates into a machine language. Quite simple, you know. And an algorithm, so an algorithm, these are just a step-by-step procedure or formula for solving a problem. So whenever a programmer wants to come up with or developing a system or project, what a programmer does, he writes an algorithm. So we talk about an algorithm. This is more like guided information or instructions. You don't just go into the code and start deciding there. No. So it's a guided procedure or formula for solving a problem. That's an algorithm. Syntax. So the rules, these are rules defining valid symbols combinations in a programming language. So we talk about symbols. Let's say, for example, here, let me put this down. I'm more straightforward. Here, I'm able to appreciate that I have this as name, and I have this here, and I'm able to put it here. There's a syntax here which are rules. So rules are governing to say that this is a variable and this is a value passed to a variable. Okay, so it's a string value passed to a variable. So string value in Python, unlike other languages, so syntax is more like it is the one which defines or differentiates programming languages. Some programming languages like Java, if I want to assign a value to a variable, I would need to specify the type of the variable. Okay, a good example is if I want to write the same in Java, here is how I can write it in Java. Fabric class, I need to specify the name of the class. So this is hello. Okay. That's in Java. And I need to specify public static void main string. Okay. Public class. Okay. You see, according to Java syntax. Okay. And here is where you define. You see, in Python, this is it. The same what I'm writing here is what the Python does. And down here, don't mind about this because this is a Python file. So I'm just writing this. Might show an error because syntax is different in Python. I'm writing a Java code inside a Python file, so they might not be the same. That's why I just gave you an error here. But that's not the point. We're not running Java program here. We're only trying to show you the syntax. Okay. And here, down here, you print it out. So you specify the name of this. This will be string name. You need to specify in Java. Okay. Rather, sometimes you can just define a variable without assigning a value like that. And then you put hello out. Okay. Hello world. Okay. So this is in Java. And if you want to print this in Java, sustain the code that prints that, and but we have to print that out. So you just print the name because it's a variable. So if you want to print a variable, that's how you print it out. Just like that, as you can see. So this one is Java code doing the exact thing, like 2 lines of code. It is a simple print out. Okay, it will simply print and it's the same code. Okay, so it's about the syntax. Syntax is a rule on how a programming language is supposed to be. What are you supposed to write at what line and how you are supposed to do that. So that's a rule. That's a syntax you need to understand. Okay, that's it. I wanted just to explain about syntax. As you can see, Python is quite simple and straightforward. So how does coding work? That's another point where people are most interested to understand how does coding works, because people are like, you're talking about coding, but how does it work? Okay, so the basics are like this. Computers, they follow instructions written in code to perform tasks like calculations and data processing. When you see a computer allowing you to calculate something, don't think it's magic. It's not magic. Somebody predefined certain formulas as a code, okay, such that when you write something to do with the calculations, a computer will do that instantly. Now, no magic, something was already done by someone physical, okay. So programming language such as Python, JavaScript, and C++ are just tools for writing these instructions. In Python, as you can see here, in Python, this is just a comment. Okay? A comment in Python, if you put it this way, let's say this is a comment. This is a comment, and I put it like that. So a comment is just a piece of line or line that is being neglected, or that is skipped by a compiler. It does not take that as part of the code. It will be skipped whenever a comparison or compiler is running through the code. Because remember, I said a Python has got a compiler which translates what you write into machine understanding. So down here, if you look at this is a variable name, okay, and this variable is like a container. So a variable name is a container, which is you know, when you talk about a variable, it's a container. Let's say, for example, name, and what is the name here? John. Okay. Okay, so here, this is a container which is keeping a value John, and Python knows just by assigning a value to it. So this is an assignment operator. Okay, assigns a value to a variable name. Okay. Well, let me not go deep because the goal is to make sure that we just understand what is coding. Okay, so that's that. And when you go down here, print, it outputs the value of the variable here. It simply prints out the value of the variable. Okay. So example here, the code difference. So in Java, in Python and JavaScript, but JavaScript is different from Java as well, but don't confuse. So talk about Python. Displaying a text in the Python, it's simply print. You simply write print. Actually, the best way of writing it here should be print. Okay. So this is in Python for text for displaying print. You simply write it here like this. I can comment this out. Then I can just say print. Okay. Print and hello world. Similar to what I've just done. Hello world. Okay. Hello world. And this is a text which will be printed. Hello world, as I've already shown you. Okay. Now in JavaScript, the same can be done differently. So JavaScript is doing this in different way. So for me, if I want to print this in JavaScript, I need to create a new JavaScript file, and then .js. JS, that's JavaScript. So it will be console .log, and then I say hello world. Okay, hello world, like that. So here too, if you want to run this one, you need to have an extension in Visual Studio Code, which will, when you run, it will display the same method. So, well, we're not discussing much about the VS Code setups and the like, but most importantly, it's just for you to understand that we're trying to understand that same print out in Python, we are printing it out in JavaScript differently, like we did in Python. This is how we print in Python. In JavaScript, we print the same in this way. So Java now. Java is a bit different from all these three. JavaScript is different, programming language. Java is different from programming language, and also Python is also another different programming language. So in Java, you know, Java is actually having a lengthy write-ups, unlike others that are short, but achieving the same. Because Java, you need to specify the name of the class, main, and then you have a method here, okay, whereby you'll be running your code inside the main method here. As you can see, it's exactly what I've just shown you, okay. So types of coding, we have front end and back end. And we have different tabs. This is just to mention some. So we have front end and back end or back end. So front end is part of a website or app that users can see and interact with. For example, you talk about HTML, CSS, and JavaScript. So HTML is just a markup language. This is style sheet. Okay, so this, in simple terms, just displays information on the browser. This one styles information which has been displayed, and this one brings the interactivity to the data displayed. And backend is just a server side which handles the data storage, retrieval, and the business logic, e.g. Python, Java, and Node.js. Business logic, we're talking about the part which is decision making, or which is actually being applying the thought where the decision can be made. If a customer places an order, what should happen? That is part which is done in the back end. The front end only displays and you're able to interact with. Okay. So examples, HTML. So this is the front end. If you look at this, this is HTML and CSS. If you look at this HTML code, this is a tag. It is mixture of tags, hello world, and this is paragraph. This is a simple web page paragraph. This is just part of front end code. Now, backend code, we're looking at Node.js. Node.js is the one which creates, handles what is coming from the front end. As you can see here, there's a server. In JavaScript, this is actually JavaScript. As you can see here, these are the requests. It requires the HTTP. And as you can see, this is the port where it is being listened to. This is a status. If the request is positive, so if you receive 200, you know that the request was successful. If not, it was not successful, because it's more like you're requesting something from the database or from the back end. And it can be positive, that is, you can receive the data or you cannot. So 200 signifies that it is possible. And when you're running this application, it will be opening on this port. Okay. Yes, it can be overwhelming when you're just looking at it from the first time, but it's simple and straightforward. All right, so that's just part of it. Scripting versus programming. One will be asking, like, what is scripting? What is the difference between scripting and programming? So scripting languages are used for automating tasks. For example, Python and JavaScript. Programming languages are more general purpose for building softwares and applications. For example, we're talking about Java and C++. So applications of coding in real world, how coding powers websites, apps, and softwares. So example, web development, e.g. we're talking about the HTML. We're talking about HTML for structure, CSS for styling, JavaScript for interactivity. So if you look at this button on click, what should happen? It should print that button has been clicked. But this is what you see when you render, or when you see on the browser, just say click on me. When you click on it, this is what it does. It brings an alert, like button clicked. Explanation. So this button in the code, it is simply triggers an alert box whenever you trigger or whenever clicked. Okay. So the role of coding in emerging technologies. So artificial intelligence, AI. So algorithms coded in languages like Python allow machines to learn and also make decisions. Data science, coding is used to analyze large data sets and draw insights. Python and R are popular languages for this purpose. Comment and feel free to ask anything, e.g. how can I get started with coding? Best languages for beginners, coding resources and tutorials, or real world or real life coding challenges, as well as solutions. Thank you so much for following. This is Emmanuel, web and software development tutor, IT online learning.